What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the mutant Nick Walker. Now if you are a fan of his, obviously you will like some of the Olympia predictions that are being put out. And every time Nick does a Q&A, he is asked about this. That how does he feel being counted out? And that too so much, especially this close to this year's Miss Olympia. So here is what Nick Walker has to say.
Honestly, man, there's not much to prove, you know. I think it's funny. I think it's hysterical. And I will, without a doubt, be in the top 3. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to feel it now. Energy is definitely starting to dip, you know, as the day comes to an end. But I'm very confident in the way I look right now. Matt's very confident in the way I look. And honestly, I know I haven't really posted many updates, and everyone is used to me posting updates. But since I'm counted out, you know, so much, I don't want to post updates. I just want to come on that stage and shut everyone up and leave it at that.
So I clearly remember that last year when he got that hamstring injury. One of the reasons they decided not to do last year's Miss Olympia before things went so bad that it became impossible for him to step on the stage because his leg was just so bruised that he could not even stand up. So even before that happened, they decided not to compete because him and Matt said there is just no way that they want a place outside of that top 3. So that, along with his worsening hamstring, that solidified his decision of only being a spectator for last year's Miss Olympia. And Nick Walker will forever have this regret of not competing at the Olympia in 2023 because he thinks both Hadi and Derek were less than 100% and he could have won that show. So the most unfortunate part about Nick Walker being counted out is his reaction that he won't be posting any physique updates during the rest of his prep because he just wanna shock the entire bodybuilding world the moment he steps back on the stage and hits his trademark most muscular shot. Because the thing is, Nick Walker has always been that guy who always posts a lot of physique updates. In fact, there was a time Nick Walker was posting weekly progress updates, especially leading into the Olympia. But the fact is, now that he is the underdog, especially to win the Olympia title, he has decided to stay covered up. So all the combatants, including Nick, they have entered that 6 weeks out territory where the prep kicks in, food gets lowered, cardio is increased, and there is some decline in the energy as well. But as of right now, Nick Walker seems to be in a very good spirit, and he is 100% satisfied with his current look. So a more streamlined waist compared to what we saw at this year's New York Pro. That is what the judges are looking for. And I have to say there are a lot of chances that Nick will be a lot better than what we saw at the New York Pro, than his New York Pro version. So after his win, he vowed that it will never be that close between him and Martin-Fitzwater. So are you guys expecting a surprise from the mutant this year? I guess most of you guys have already seen this update of the most famous bodybuilder of the last 3 decades, Bumstead. I mean, the guy has over 24 million followers on IG, and at this pace, he might even surpass the greatest of all time, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has 26. So who is gonna beat the man who has the best structure in classic physique division even now, and who had this ambition to bring his all-time best, especially at this year's Miss Olympia? So he had the lat year 10 weeks out of last year's Miss Olympia, but still he managed to hold on to that title. Although Ramondino brought his very best last year, and he was able to push Bumstead extremely hard. But now the thing is, if Cbum shows up even better than 2022, then I'm gonna say no disrespect, especially to guys like Ramon and Fazi and Urs and Brion. But it is just game over. He is just so damn dominant in the side shots, the abs and thigh, and the favorite most muscular. And the one weakness that he had, especially at the beginning of his career, I am talking about his back. That isn't a weakness anymore. So I have to say Cbum's side chest is one of the best side chests in the current bodybuilding right now. So there is a page on Instagram, Sam Nutella, who did this edit. They put Bumstead's side leg on Fazi and Ramon. I have to say that difference of size between Cbum and those 2 others, whom I believe are going to be fighting for the top spot, that is just massive. And that is how dominating Cbum is in those side shots. Next up is the physique update of your reigning Miss Olympia and the defending Miss Olympia champion, Derek Lunsford. People talk about him having no fibers on the shoulders. In fact, That, along with his chest, that has been the major criticism that Derek received post-Olympia win last year. But I have to say, look at those fibers moving while Derek is doing those kickbacks. So I'm sure he is 100% gonna be a lot more improved. But still, definitely not to an extent where he matches Hadi Choopan's in terms of density and muscle maturity, specifically in those areas. Because the thing is, some of the weaknesses of Derek Lunsford, they are the strongest points of Hadi Choopan. And just like that, no one is gonna match Derek from the back. So Derek just doesn't get enough credit for his side shots, when in reality he was very impressive from the side as well. And those were actually two of the shots that Derek was able to flip from 2022 to 2023. And that is why he won the Olympia title last year. And we are gonna see more improvements this year. So if you look at his recent YouTube video, you will know that he has some rough days because of the low food, but he has been crushing all his workouts. And these little things are gonna add up in 6 weeks' time.
So like I said, like some days I'm moving slower than the others. But boy, do I love how things are coming together right now.
Only 1 week left till we see whether Hunter Labrada is one of the most improved bodybuilder of 2024. He is ready to crush in Italy. So insane dry look with 7 days to go. He can step on the stage tomorrow if he decides to manipulate the water. And this was their aim while he was prepping for Italy, to be almost ready at roughly 2 weeks out of the show. Just take a look at his conditioning from the back. The hamstrings, the glutes, everything looks on point. Plus, let's give the credit where it's due. That statement that both Samson and Hunter had weak backs, that was made after the Arnold 2023, just 1.5 years ago. And Hunter has really turned one of his weaknesses into his complete strength. So one of the biggest difference that we are going to see on Hunter this year, that is going to be his presentation on the stage. He has been practicing posing, not just during the prep phase, but throughout the year, even at the peak of his off-season. The point when he was weighing 295 pounds, he was still hitting vacuums. And the reason for that was his composure on the stage. It stays absolutely 100%, especially in comparison to what we saw in 2023 at Texas Pro. So judging by these pictures, he is right in the discussion of cracking top 5 at this year's Miss Olympia. Next up is the update of Martin-Fitzwater. So Fuad gave us an inside scoop in the latest episode of the Bro Chat that Martin is 8 pounds heavier in the same condition as he was 4 weeks before the New York Pro.
Some pictures from before New York. It was like, I think 3 or 4 weeks out from New York. And then pictures from now, and he's like 8 pounds heavier in the same condition.
Now we know any specific number. That is the least concern of Martin. He just wants to show up a lot more denser, and not just in one area, all around, at his Olympia debut in 6 weeks' time. And with the aesthetics and the shape and the flow that Martin has, he can really expose some big names. Plus the fact that the conditioning that this guy brings, he is always absolutely peeled out of his mind. He can be really dangerous. So Martin and Brett's show, they are lined up in an ideal scenario. When Brett is competing just 2 weeks prior to the Olympia, so they are pushing each other extremely hard during the training sessions. So Martin probably has the most hype as a first-timer for this year's Miss Olympia, because he's being discussed as the guy who can be in the first call-out, and that too at his Olympia debut. Now I have to say things would have been totally different for Martin if he ended his season with Detroit Pro win. That 1-point difference against the mutant Nick Walker gave Martin so much hype than his win in Detroit Pro. So where did you guys see Martin placing at his first ever Miss Olympia? Especially if he comes in bigger and in that same condition as the New York Pro. Can he crack top 6? So do let me know in the comments below. And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.